Before I even got through the ropes, he was on me. He was starting the match right there. I said, well, I guess that's the way it starts because there's no referee to stop it. So the match with Pat Patterson, the alley fight, started with the Cobra Clutch Challenge, where I put $5,000 up to anybody that could break the Cobra Clutch.
Now, wait just a minute. You've said before that anyone who can escape the Cobra Clutch, you would give them $5,000. Is that correct?
That's right. I challenge any wrestler right here, right now, to have me put the Cobra Clutch on him. I'll give him $5,000.
Pat was behind the desk at that time, commentating. He came out to interview me.
And I'm going to offer you something right now, Pat Patterson. I will put up $5,000. I will put $5,000 up. The general will put $5,000 up just for you. $10,000 for you only to get in that ring right now and put the Cobra Clutch on you. Yeah.
You mean to tell me that if I was to go in the ring and if I was to get out of the Cobra Clutch, you would give me $10,000?
I'll give you $5,000. The general hates you so much, he said he'd put up $5,000, and you got $10,000, Pat Patterson. Are you yellow?
I had an opponent that kind of got scared, and before I could put it on him, he ran out of the ring.
Wait a minute.
He's yellow just like you. He's yellow just like you. He got up. That's right. He's yellow.
Holy Toledo!
I started getting on Pat's case, and Pat got so bad he took off his jacket and got in the ring and wanted me to put it on him.
Sergeant Slaughter slapped the Lulu out of Pat Patterson.
We went through quite a few matches.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 13 minutes and 36 seconds, the referee has disqualified Sergeant Slaughter and Pat Patterson and has ruled this bout a double disqualification.
And finally, Mr. McMahon Sr. came to me and said, enough is enough. We're going to settle this once and for all. And he said, I'm going to call it the alley fight. So I said, well, is it going to be out in an alley or out in the parking lot, or where's this match going to take place? He said, no, it's going to be right in the middle of the ring in Madison Square Garden.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, tonight's sixth bout will take place. It is the special alley fight.
And I said, well, what are the rules? He said, there's no rules. I said, well, what do you mean there's no rules? He said, there's no rules. And there's not going to be a referee. We got to the Garden early that day, and my manager was Ernie Roth. I called him the General, the Grand Wizard. I was talking to him, and I said, Ernie, I've been thinking about this match. I said, how does it end? And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, there's no rules, there's no time limit, and there's no referee. So who stops the match? We just went out there. We could wear whatever we wanted to wear. And I had my steel-toed combat boots on and my fatigues. And Pat came out with his cowboy boots on and his blue jeans and an I Love You New York t-shirt on and a baseball cap, a Yankee baseball cap. Before I even got through the ropes, he was on me. He was starting the match right there. I said, well, I guess that's the way it starts because there's no referee to stop it. So he gave me a move called the catapult. I hit the top of the ring post. If you ever watch, you want to do it in slow motion, you can see my head hits the top of that steel post. And as soon as I hit it, I could feel the burn in my head, and I looked down and blood was already coming onto my arm. The first thing I thought about was my wife, because she was on her way to New York. Mr. McMahon Sr. wanted me to go to Japan, but I didn't have a passport, so she was flying in with my birth certificate. And I thought about how is she going to find me at what hospital, because I don't even know where I'm at, much less her coming from Minnesota. And so I kept thinking about that while Pat was continuing to beat me. I saw the corner of my eye, I saw this piece of white cloth, and I looked over, and here was my general, throwing the towel in. And I'm going, no, I want to keep going. I'm getting my second win. And so the towel fell down off the rope. So I picked it up, and before I could tell him no, he threw it in again. And of course, they rang the bell. That's how the match ended. And I got to thinking about it later on, but that's what really made Sergeant Slaughter the toughest SOB of all time, because people could see I didn't want to quit. I was going in. I was on my second win. I was getting back into the battlefield. They had to stop the match because I was bleeding too much, and everybody saw Sergeant Slaughter in a different fashion from that point on. They said, he's one tough SOB. As soon as I got back to the dressing room from the ring, Jack Lanza came over to me and said, "Kid, we'll take care of you." The doctor came over. He did butterflies across my head. I had probably about 8 or 10 stitches that would have needed, and he closed it up, put a big piece of tape over the butterflies. Next thing I know, here's my little wife, Diane, coming in to see if I was okay. She had just gotten to the building. Never got to see the match, thank God. I'll always remember my passport for the next however long your passport lasts for. I had this big Band-Aid on my forehead, and every time I would show it at the counters, they'd all look at it and go, "Oh, I remember. Was that the alley fight?" And I said, "Yeah, that was the alley fight." So people even remembered it from my passport. So I always wondered why they never had another one, but I guess out of respect for Pat and I, that they never had another alley fight. I keep waiting for two guys that can't get the job done, and they're going to announce an alley fight, but they never do. But I always remember Mick Foley coming to me and saying, "Sarge, I was in the third row during that match." And he said that excited me so much that I wanted to be a professional wrestler. They would always make the boys watch that match and say, "This is a professional wrestling match. This is what we want you to learn how to tell a story," because without a referee, pretty tough to have a match without a referee, but we did it. It's a classic, definitely a classic. Attention, maggots! Coming up, the alley fight, Pat Patterson, Sergeant Slaughter, May 4th, 1981. Watch it and learn.
Tonight's sixth bout will take place. It is the special alley fight. And the rules are very simple, ladies and gentlemen. There will be absolutely no referee present in the ring during the bout, and there will be no holds barred. One fall will win the contest, and the participants from South Carolina, weighing 305 pounds, Sergeant Slaughter. And his opponent from San Francisco, California, weighing 237 pounds, Pat Patterson.
This is going to be a one-of-a-kind here in Madison Square Garden, the first for the Garden. Slaughter has, well, they can wear anything they wish. As you heard the ring announcer, there are no holds barred. There, Pat Patterson with cowboy boots on and a "I love you" New York t-shirt. All right, Pat, go get it, brother. And a Yankees cap that he throws to the crowd. Dungarees, he's all set. And those cowboy boots have a sharp pointed toe. It'll be interesting to see what Sergeant Slaughter wears into the squared circle. No referee, no holds barred. Anything goes in this one. And coming into the ring, there's the Grand Wizard of Wrestling. Slaughter with combat fatigues on. Here comes Pat Patterson. Patterson with those cowboy boots. Patterson looks like he's enjoying himself. Pat Patterson all over Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter missing. Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter down into this television set all over everything. Patterson coming right out with him. So Sergeant Slaughter getting perhaps the worst of it. Now Pat Patterson with a belt in here winds up and look out. Slaughter's getting a whooping here. And Slaughter will well remember this match. Patterson going over now. Patterson may have hurt his back on the apron of the ring. Slaughter still has the belt around his neck, around his throat. Patterson going out after him. Patterson gives him a good licking again. Patterson. Slaughter has been able to do absolutely nothing to counter the attack of Pat Patterson. Patterson had best watch himself. Slaughter now has the belt Patterson used earlier. To the rope, Pat Patterson. Oh, right across the throat. It's now Sergeant Slaughter using the belt against Pat Patterson. Remember, anything goes in this match. Got across the mouth now, Patterson. I'm sure Slaughter would like to have it around his throat. Angelic Gomer. Right hand follow through to the forehead. Slaughter now working on the I Love New York t-shirt. Rips it off. Patterson around Pat's throat. Slaughter continuing to tighten the hold. And there's no submission, no countouts, no disqualification. Anything goes. That's the way both of these participants want it. Patterson, oh look at that. What a clever maneuver that was. Cleverly done by Pat Patterson. Slaughter on the outside recuperating. Slaughter back to the apron. He's going to come in by way of the rope, the top rope. Both men pretty much spent by now. Patterson with a kick to the midsection. A scoop now by Patterson, a slam. Patterson with those cowboy boots. Oh! Patterson with Slaughter in the air, and again another slam. Patterson appears to be fighting from our vantage point. Slaughter recovering a bit quicker, and a kick to the head there with those combat boots on is certainly going to be felt. Things looking pretty bleak for Patterson right about now. The match has gone nip and tuck all the way. Slaughter ambling over now, takes another shot at Pat Patterson. Patterson with the cowboy boots on, Slaughter with the combat boots on. Whips his man over the top rope. And that could very well be all she wrote for Pat Patterson. There's no count out there. Patterson. Oh, wait a minute. Slaughter now at the top rope. He could leap from there. The side's against it. Patterson back inside the squared circle, taking yet more punishment from Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter appeared to collapse a moment ago. Oh no! Did you see that? Slaughter hit the ring post and his whole forehead is just gushing with blood. Patterson sent Slaughter reeling into the ring post, and he is just gushing with blood. But you can't stop this match. The match cannot be stopped for blood. Patterson showing no mercy at all on Sergeant Slaughter. Slaughter cut and cut severely. The blood still pouring from the forehead. Looks like perhaps Slaughter, he has a brass knuckles. That's what it looks like. Slaughter can't even see. He's so bloodied, Slaughter can't even see. But he's got a pair of brass knuckles on his hand. Pulled him out of his fatigues. Slaughter, weakened now. And the blood still pouring from the head of Slaughter. Slaughter trying to stay on his feet. Blocked by Patterson. Another block by Patterson. Slaughter still has the knuckles around his right hand. Still waiting to use it. Patterson. Patterson now with a cowboy boot off. Slaughter must have lost at least a quart of blood by now. It's just pouring out. Patterson clobbering with that boot. It's a grueling sight. This match is grueling. But Slaughter wants to get right back into it. There's a towel. The Wizards throwing in a towel. Slaughter still wants to go. This goes absolutely bonkers. One of the most, if not the most grueling match in professional wrestling history has taken place here tonight in Madison Square Garden as the Wizard, the manager of Slaughter, pleads for him not to go back in. The Wizard pleading with Slaughter not to go back in.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 14 minutes, 13 seconds. And the winner of the